Good morning, you're watching Hornbill TV's Morning Buzz. US President Donald Trump on Friday announced during a television appearance in New York City that the suspect in the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk is in custody. Trump revealed that someone close to the suspect turned him in. At a press conference later, officials identified the suspect as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Utah Governor Spencer Cox told reporters that a family member of Robinson confided in a family friend who then contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office. After Robinson confessed, surveillance footage showed Robinson arriving at Utah Valley University in a gray Dodge Challenger at 8:29 a.m. local time on Wednesday, the day of the shooting. Investigators also spoke to a family member who confirmed Robinson had become more political in recent years, mentioning Kirk's visit to the campus before the attack. Governor Cox further explained that investigators obtained messages from Robinson's roommate showing Discord chats where Robinson discussed retrieving a rifle from a drop point. On Thursday, the FBI recovered the suspected murder weapon, a Mauser bolt action rifle with scope, wrapped in a towel and hidden in a wooded area near the university. Investigators also recovered bullet casings engraved with inscriptions including "Hey Fascist Catch," lyrics from the Italian resistance song Bella Ciao, and mocking phrases. Cox confirmed the inscriptions would link directly to Robinson. The arrest comes less than 24 hours after the FBI released images of a person of interest, sparking a public appeal. Officials said Robinson's weapon and writing show deliberate planning, marking a disturbing turn in the case. FBI's Kash Patel stated that the disgraceful act should never happen in America. He added that the charges are the first step towards delivering justice for Erica Lane, her family, and the millions of Americans who deserve safe cities. Patel noted that in 33 hours, historic progress was made for Charlie. He also thanked President Trump for providing resources that allowed justice to be pursued at this speed.
High degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But yeah, I think we're in great shape.
Mr. President.
And he's in custody.
I know there has been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Ciao, Ciao." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO.
The arrest is a testament to the dedication of good law enforcement being great, and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake Field Office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions, and we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime.
Nepal's parliament was formally dissolved late Friday and fresh elections were scheduled for March 5, 2026, hours after former Chief Justice Sushila Karki was sworn in as the country's new interim Prime Minister. Announcing the decision, the President's office said the dissolution was approved in the first cabinet meeting convened by Karki at 11 p.m., marking the start of a 6-month transitional government tasked with steering the country to the polls. Karki, who took oath earlier in the day at Sheetal Niwas, the presidential residence in Kathmandu, became the first woman to hold the post of Prime Minister in Nepal. Her appointment followed the resignation of KP Sharma Oli earlier this week after weeks of youth-led anti-corruption protests that demanded political accountability. The President's office said the new cabinet has been mandated to restore order and prepare the ground for elections to the federal parliament on March 5th next year. Karki's selection marks a rare moment of consensus in Nepali politics. Chosen through a public vote held by Gen Z leaders on the online platform Discord, she emerged as the most popular and acceptable figure not only among the youth movement but also among traditional political forces seeking stability and credibility in a time of upheaval, as per the Kathmandu Post.
म सुशीला कार्की नेपालको सार्वभौम सत्ता र राजकीय सत्ता, नेपालको सर्वोच्च सत्ता र राजकीय सत्ता, नेपाली जनतामा निहित रहेको नेपालको संविधानप्रति पूर्ण वफादार रही सत्यनिष्ठापूर्वक प्रतिज्ञा गर्दै ईश्वरको देश र जनताको नाममा शपथ लिन्छु कि प्रधानमन्त्री पदको जिम्मेवारी प्रचलित कानूनको पालना गरी मुलुक र जनताको भलो चिताई कसैको डर नमानी पक्षपात नगरी पूर्वाग्रह वा खराब भावना नलिई ईमानदारीका साथ वहन गर्नेछु र आफ्नो कर्तव्य पालनाको सिलसिलामा आफूलाई जानकारीमा आएको कुरा म कर्म बहाल रहँदा वा नरहँदा.
After Nepal's former Chief Justice Sushila Karki was sworn in as the interim Prime Minister and elections set to be held in March 2026, former Indian Ambassador to Nepal, Jayant Prasad, on Friday expressed confidence in Karki to bring the situation of the country to stability. He said Nepal was desperately in search of a stabilizing influence, and this is a good development because Sushila Karki is known to be an independent and a fair-minded person. He said she will be able to conduct elections unlike in Bangladesh.
You know, Nepal was desperately in search of a stabilizing influence. And I think this is a good development because Sushila Karki is known to be an independent person, a fair-minded person, and she'll be able to conduct elections, not like Bangladesh, where no elections have taken place for more than a year, despite having a caretaker government. But I'm pretty sure that Sushila Karki will be able to manage the next elections. And it's not for the first time that this is happening. In 2013 as well, the Chief Justice at that time took the reins of government in his hands, following an all-party consensus around it, and got the elections conducted. So I think it's a very good development under the circumstances because all the state institutions, unfortunately, the Gen Z started the ball rolling what happened on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, especially on Tuesday. After the 19 youngsters were shot, some in school uniform, the next day, other elements took over and they have burnt down the presidential palace, which used to be earlier the residence of the Indian ambassador when we became independent, and we moved to the old British residency only after 3-4 years. They burnt down the Singh Darbar, which is the seat of government. They burnt down also some hotels. There was not a single residence of an incumbent minister which was not burnt, ransacked, or stoned. And none of the top politicians in Nepal are today residing in their own houses. They are all sheltered elsewhere. So it's a very dire situation. And Sushila Karki taking over at this time is going to definitely stabilize the situation. Actually, the two cases are quite dissimilar. There is only one similarity, that the incumbent government had become very unpopular in both Bangladesh and Nepal. And that is where the similarity ends. Because in Bangladesh, what happened was an unfortunate choice of the head of government. And he has not been able to deliver anything. He has got people from outside to advise on changes in the constitution. And that's not what is going to happen in Nepal, because my own feeling is that the Nepalese are going to come together after this trauma, and they are going to try and get back to constitutionalism. And they are going to have elections as early as possible. And that will be a good solution, because that would reflect the new parliament, the voice of the people. And then they will have a new government. And all the established political parties will have to think of a change of leadership, because leadership must pass into the hands of younger people. Because the same people we have seen for the last 20 years have been in power, and people don't want it anymore. No, we don't have to seek anything from her. We have to extend to her all the support and goodwill possible, because a turmoil in Nepal or unsettlement in Nepal is not good for India. And that is why we have a huge stake in the stability of that country. And the sooner normalcy is restored there, the better it would be for us. And that is the reason why, in case Nepal requires any help in conduct of elections or any other type of assistance, India, I'm sure, would be forthcoming.
In a few years back.
Absolutely not. Given Nepal's geographic position, they have to maintain a modicum of relations, good relations, with both China and India. But Nepal is so situated geographically that the ranges of the Himalayas are right in the northern part of Nepal. And then Nepal goes to the Tarai, and the Tarai is adjoining 4 Indian states, Uttarakhand, UP, Bihar, Bengal, rather 5, and Sikkim. And so all of Nepal's human interaction and economic interaction is mainly with India. Nepal exports to India much more than it exports to China. And so Chinese investments have recently gone up, but Indian cumulative investment in Nepal is pretty high.
For the first time since the ethnic violence erupted in May 2023, Prime Minister Modi will be visiting the state today. He will be arriving at Churachandpur and interact with some of the internally displaced persons in the district. The PM will then lay foundation stone of various infrastructure projects. He will also address a public gathering at Peace Ground, Churachandpur, after which he will reach Kangla. Ahead of Manipur's visit, he will visit Mizoram and lay the foundation stone and inaugurate multiple development projects worth over Rs 9,000 crore at Aizawl at around 10 a.m. He will also address a public function.
I'd like to make a statement on behalf of state government for the visit of Honorable Prime Minister. The state government appreciates the efforts of the people of Manipur, both in the hills and the valley, for successfully moving forward to restore peace and normalcy in the state. The joint efforts of all the stakeholders have brought stability and security slowly but steadily in the state. Manipur is not just a border state but a central pillar of India's Act East policy, a gateway to the Southeast Asia and a proud guardian of India's diversity. Peace is not only the absence of violence but also the presence of trust, harmony and reconciliation. Thus the visit of Honorable Prime Minister to the state will pave way for peace, normalcy and accelerated growth in the state. Honorable PM will be arriving in Manipur on 13th September 2025 from Aizawl. On his arrival at Churachandpur around 12:15 p.m., he will first interact with some of the internally displaced persons in the district. He will lay foundation stone of various infrastructure projects to be taken up throughout the state. The Honorable Prime Minister will address the public gathering at Peace Ground, Churachandpur. Thereafter, he will arrive at Kangla around 2:30 p.m. and first interact with some of the IDPs in the valley areas. The Honorable Prime Minister will be inaugurating various development projects within and outside the state belonging to Manipur. The Honorable Prime Minister will address the public gathering at Kangla. The total projects for which foundation stones are being put are totaling to rupees 7,300 crore, and the projects which are being inaugurated are worth total rupees 1,200 crore. Such initiatives underscore the Honorable Prime Minister's continued commitment and dedication for the development and welfare of the state. Thus, I, on behalf of the Government of Manipur and Government of India, request the people of Manipur to come forward in welcoming the Honorable Prime Minister to the state and participate in the program in large numbers.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu defended Israel's recent strike in Qatar targeting Hamas leaders, invoking the memory of the September 11, 2001 attacks on the United States. He framed Hamas's October 7, 2023 assault on Israel as a parallel moment of mass terror. Netanyahu emphasized that Israel's operation mirrored the US campaign against Al-Qaeda and the killing of Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. The premier addressed international criticism, calling it hypocritical, and issued a stark warning to Qatar and any nation sheltering terrorists.
Tomorrow is September 11th. We remember September 11th. On that day, Islamist terrorists committed the worst savagery on American soil since the founding of the United States. We also have a September 11th. We remember October 7th. On that day, Islamist terrorists committed the worst savagery against the Jewish people since the Holocaust. What did America do in the wake of September 11th? It promised to hunt down the terrorists who committed this heinous crime wherever they may be. And it also passed a resolution in the Security Council of the UN 2 weeks later that said governments cannot give harbor to terrorists. Well, yesterday we acted along those lines. We went after the terrorist masterminds who committed the October 7th massacre. And we did so in Qatar, which gives safe haven. It harbors terrorists. It finances Hamas. It gives its terrorist chieftains sumptuous villas. It gives them everything. So we did exactly what America did when it went after the terrorists, the Al-Qaeda terrorists in Afghanistan, and after they went and killed Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. Now the various countries of the world condemn Israel. They should be ashamed of themselves. What did they do after America took out Osama bin Laden? Did they say, oh, what a terrible thing was done to Afghanistan or to Pakistan? No, they applauded. They should applaud Israel for standing and up to these same principles and carrying them out. And I say to
Once again, Bahrain in Uttar Pradesh has been shaken by the attack of a man-eating wolf. A 3-month-old infant named Sandhya from Fakarpur block was killed after being mauled by the wolf. Forest department officials have reached the spot and started an investigation. Just last night in Kaizarganj, the same predator reportedly attacked an elderly woman while she was feeding her cow. Villagers rushed to her rescue, forcing the animal to flee. The woman from Manjhara Tokli village is in critical condition and has been referred to Bahrain Medical College. Villagers strongly claim it is a man-eating wolf, while the forest department has not confirmed this yet. According to forest officials, based on primary evidence, the predator could be either a leopard or a wolf. Currently, traps and camera surveillance have been set up in the area.
क्या नाम है आपका?
अक्षेश कुमार।
एक महिला घायल होकर आई है, क्या हुआ इसको पूरी बात बताएं।
ये गाय को चारा खिला रही थी, अचानक पीछे से आदमखोर भेड़िए ने हमला कर दिया इनके ऊपर।
किस जगह पे घटना हुई?
इनके घर के जस्ट बगल में।
कहाँ गए?
ग्राम बमरमपुरा पोस्ट मंझारा तोंकली।
ये क्या कर रही थी?
माता जी चारा खिला रही थी।
तो कैसे पता कि ये भेड़िया ही है?
2 दिन पहले एक ज्योत्सा नाम की लड़की जो हमारे ग्राम सभा की है, उस पर हमला कर दिए थे आदमखोर भेड़िए ने।
तो माता जी की जान कैसे बची?
माता जी चिल्लाई तो गांव के लोग इकट्ठा हुए किसी तरह से उनको, तो वो आवाज़ सुना तो भेड़िया भाग गया। गांव वालों ने इनको बचाया। इसके बाद पखरपुर ले आए, वहाँ पखरपुर लेके आए, वहाँ टाँका वाँका लगा के वहाँ से रेफर मेडिकल कॉलेज बहरेज कर दिया।
कोई अधिकारी पहुंचा है इस वक्त?
हाँ, थाना इंचार्ज थे।
तो इसी जंगल में लेकर कूद गया, पीछे पीछे हम वहाँ तक दौड़े गए, हमको नहीं मिला। फिर सिवा अभी ढूंढा है, तब पहले कपड़ा के मिले हैं, उसके बाद में खाली इतना मूड़ का टुकड़ा मिला है, वह चबावा हुआ, बाकी कुछ छोड़बे नहीं किसी कुल खाली से। और अत्ते मांस के लंदका पड़े। वन विभाग की टीम वहाँ गई है, फोटो वोटो ली से, तब वहाँ से आए।
क्या नाम था बच्ची का?
संध्या।
कितनी उम्र थी?
उम्र अभी 3 महीना की है।
नाम है हमारा। और बत्ती नहीं आती है, बत्ती आती है तो पंखा वंखा कूलर कुछ नहीं चलते हैं। हाँ साहब, तब जैसे गर्मी जब बहुत होती है तो अंदर से थोड़ा बच्ची को लेकर तो बाहर में नहीं निकलते हैं। तो गर्मी की वजह से ये हमारे यहाँ दुर्घटना हो गई।
क्या नाम था बच्ची का?
बच्ची के नाम संध्या मालूम।
That was all for this hour's bulletin. For more news and updates, stay tuned to Hornbill TV. Goodbye.
Copy that. Yes, I'm in his makeup room. Yes, I'll get the dialogues done. Okay.
और लंच किया?
बस सोडा।
बस सोडा? क्या यार, मुझे लगा एडी से बड़े डायरेक्टर बनोगे, देश का नाम रोशन करोगे।
अरे नहीं सर, क्या हो गया? करूंगा ना देश का नाम रोशन।
नो पोर्शन नो रोशन मिस्टर असिस्टेंट डायरेक्टर।
रियली?
इसीलिए लिसन टू योर बॉडी। सुनो सुनो सुना, क्या कह रहा है शरीर?
क्या कह रहा है सर?
कह रहा है कि मुझे विटामिन्स दो, प्रोटीन दो, कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स दो, मुझे सही न्यूट्रिशन दो, और तुम दे रहे हो सोडा।
पर सर रात को तो मैं रोटी खाता ही हूँ।
अच्छा, तुम्हें